Parliament buildings in Nairobi, and it is a live broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. A warm welcome to you, and we are glad that you have joined us for these proceedings of the Senate. As we wait for the members to get into the chambers, we shall take a look at the business that is lined up for consideration this afternoon. What you're seeing on your screens currently, that is the Senate chambers. And the time allocated for the sitting is 2:30, so in a short while, that means that we shall be seeing members of the Senate making their way into the chambers. And also we shall be expecting the Speaker's procession to also make its way into the chambers for the House to be able to commence its business. On the business that is lined up for consideration, last week on Thursday during the afternoon sitting, you will recall that the members ventilated comprehensively on the motion. This is with regards to the report that was in a petition that was debated last week on Thursday regarding the branding of public projects with images of governors as well as members of county assemblies, commonly referred to as MCAs, as well as branding of county vehicles. This is a motion with regards to the report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations concerning a petition that was sent to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omusundi, petitioning the Senate to look into this particular matter where county governors or county bosses as well as MCAs have been seen to brand public projects with their images as well as branding over the county vehicle. So this is a matter that the members of the Senate comprehensively debated on. Most of them actually condemning this particular move by the county bosses as well as the MCAs, indicating that the projects that are being undertaken at the county government level are not projects financed by the governors or the members of the county assembly, but this is public resources that are being used either to improve county projects or even to commence county projects. However, that those are not monies that are solely financed by the county bosses, but public funds, and thereby branding those public projects with their images is a contravention over the Constitution on the Chapter 6 that talks about integrity, that what they're doing is contravening that particular law, and that the county projects should not or ought not to be branded by the images of governors and also MCAs. So that is a motion that as the members ventilated on last week on Thursday during the afternoon sitting, condemned that particular move, and it is a motion that was concluded on that Thursday. However, the question was deferred, and in this particular motion, the governors, it is a motion that was laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 3rd June 2025, with the Departmental Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations, indicating that this calls for an urgent move from the Senate, which oversights or whose mandate to oversight the county governments or the devolved units solely lies on. So this afternoon, after that particular debate that was concluded last week Thursday, this afternoon a question will be put for the members of the Senate to be able to vote on this particular motion. If you're just joining us, that the House is about to commence its business. Members of the Senate, as you can see, have already started trickling into the chamber. That is the leader of the majority party, Honorable Aaron Cheriot, who has made his way into the chamber, among other members, as you can see. And what we will be waiting for now is the Speaker's procession to also make its way into the chamber. Some activities at the entrance indicating that the Speaker's procession is not so far away. And as you can see, the Sergeant-at-Arms leading the way, the mess ahead of the Speaker, that is the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi, making his way into the chamber to preside over this afternoon sitting. You will allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with KBC. My name is Kamche Menza. Good afternoon.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, tutakusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka. Sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Tutakuomba tuwajalie, tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do you have quorum? Sergeant-at-Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Well, the prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, the House is facing a quorum hitch. That is at the commencement of its sitting, at least 15 senators should be present in the chambers for the House to be deemed to have attained that particular quorum to be able to commence its business. If that quorum is not present, then as provided for in the House Standing Order number 39 and 40, that quorum bell will be on. This is just an alert to the members who may be within the precincts of Parliament to be informed that the House is yet to commence its sitting due to a quorum hitch, and that their presence inside the chamber is highly required. We can see the leader of the majority party counting the members inside to see whether the quorum is about to be attained, at least 15 senators. If that quorum is raised, then we will, without any further ado, hand you over back to the proceedings of the House. But as we wait for that quorum to be attained, we shall continue to take a look at the business that is lined up for consideration this afternoon. Further than the motions that are lined up for consideration this afternoon, as well as bills that are also lined up for second reading, the Social Protection Bill originating from the National Assembly, Bill number 12. All right, the quorum has been achieved. Allow me to hand you over.
Call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages.
Senator Kisang, we're waiting for you to take your seat. Senator from Makueni County. Now, honorable senators, would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, a visiting delegation of Hansard officers from the Parliament of Ghana. The delegation is undertaking a benchmarking visit with their counterparts in the Senate. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that they may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. Mr. Adam Idrisu, Ms. Jessica Adumansa, Ms. Anne-Marie Ama-Edem Akili, Mr. Godwin Vifa Sawonu, Ms. Ajara Yahaya, Mr. Etomom Kwabula Ababio, On behalf of the Senate, on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome and wish you a fruitful visit. Governor of Kiambu County. The delegation is in the Senate. The delegation is in the Senate following the resolution of the County Executive and the Assembly recommending the conferment of city status to Thika municipality. Honorable Senators, I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that they may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. Dr. Kimani Wamatangi, EGH, Governor, Kiambu County. The Honorable Charles Thiongo, Speaker of the County Assembly. Ms. Nancy Kirumba, County Executive Member, Finance. Ms. Salome Wainaina, County Executive Committee Member for Lands. Mr. Martin Kangiri, the Chief Officer Lands. Mr. Peter Ndegwa, Chief Officer Cooperatives. Honorable Godfrey Musheke, Majority Leader, County Assembly of Kiambu. Honorable Joe Kigara, Minority Leader, County Assembly of Kiambu. Honorable John Jiru, Deputy Speaker, County Assembly of Kiambu. Honorable Wambiri Moses Ngatha, the Chairperson of the Committee on County Planning and Urbanization and a member of the committee. Now, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and all other accompanying officers and wish you a fruitful visit here in the Senate. I will ask the Minority Leader and the Deputy Minority Whip to extend words of welcome to the delegation from Ghana and also to the delegation from Kiambu County. You may proceed, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You had mentioned Minority Leader. That's why I was waiting to see who will take the honors. But I'm glad you have since rectified. Mr. Speaker, I wish to welcome this delegation from Ghana who are here on a study visit in the Parliament of Kenya. I have said times without number that if it was in terms of ranking on professionalism and competence of public servants, our parliamentary staff rank very high, Mr. Speaker. And I say that having worked with them for 5 solid years when I served in PAC, Mr. Speaker. And each week when I served as a commissioner in charge of the Staff Welfare Committee, we used to have visiting delegations from different parts of Africa who come here to compare and learn and exchange knowledge from their counterparts here in Parliament. Therefore, I want to welcome this delegation. I know that in their interaction with members of staff from the Parliament of Kenya, they will learn a lot, Mr. Speaker, and also share their experiences from the Parliament of Ghana. I wish them well in the remainder of their tour here in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, and also, Mr. Speaker, to register my appreciation for their appearance before this particular House, Mr. Speaker, because it's confirmation that even though this is a bicameral institution, they know where the prowess of parliamentary practice lies. It is in this House, Mr. Speaker. Lastly, to this delegation from Ghana, if any of them has the contact of a gentleman called T.A. Thomas Party, Mr. Speaker, I want to send them to him to ask him to stay strong and show up for Arsenal in a big way this season, despite the very serious challenges he's facing in his life. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, to the delegation led by our former colleague, Senator Kimani Wamatangi, who we served in this House with for many years and is now here with a team from the county executive and the county assembly of Kiambu. I wish them well as they pursue this journey of seeing Thika turn into a city, Mr. Speaker. They have laid the groundwork. Ordinarily, Mr. Speaker, when governors visit with their delegations to Parliament, specifically to Senate, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that they lobby enough, they start with the office of the Speaker, then the office of the Majority Leader, before appearing in the gallery. I don't know why Senator Matangi has reversed the roles, Mr. Speaker. I am yet to be convinced whether that motion should be moved, Mr. Speaker. He knows the traditions of this House, traditions which he taught me himself, not any other person. It was Senator Matangi who told me how to interact with governors. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I know he will behave accordingly later on. I wish all the members well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, for the benefit of the delegation from Ghana, my name is Edwin Sifuna. I'm the Senator of Nairobi, the city where you are, and the Deputy Whip of the Minority in the Senate. And for your further information, I'm also the Secretary General of Kenya's largest opposition political party called the Orange Democratic Movement. The reason I bring that up, Honorable Speaker, in fact, there was an invitation from the African Governance Center for my party to send representatives to Accra for a conference under the theme From Politics to Prosperity on the 12th to 14th of August. But unfortunately, we as political parties in this country are struggling with financing from the public coffers. And I had to write back and say the ODM party might not be able to participate, Honorable Speaker. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to welcome you to Kenya, to Nairobi, and to join the majority leader in insisting that certain traditions must be followed. Honorable Speaker, when delegations come to visit Nairobi, I think it is also incumbent upon us to make sure they visit the offices of the leadership of the city, starting with the senator, and then I can lead you across the road to the office of the governor of Nairobi. And in that same breath, the Honorable Wamatangi, I can also confirm, has not appeared before the office of the leadership of a minority. And I don't know why that is, because as the leader of my majority has confirmed, certain traditions have to be followed, and as a member, a former member of this House, the governor of Kiambu, whereas we welcome you to this House, I have also to raise those concerns that were raised by the majority leader, that you might be out of order, but it's not my place to declare it. Honorable Speaker, please uphold the traditions of this House and the respect for the offices that we hold in this House, because we lead and represent people. And my delegation here is asking me questions that I cannot answer. Senator Amida has asked me, why is the governor here? I'm not also aware. I've not been briefed. So, Honorable Speaker, I hope that as you enjoy the hospitality of the Senate, you will find it proper to rectify those mistakes so that we can have a proper engagement between us and your county. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, I was also very upset. Was it yesterday? We as senators were invited to a meeting with the Council of Governors, and it was cancelled at the last minute. And yet they made it look like there were serious issues that we wanted to discuss. And we were available for that. So on top of the mistakes that have been made by the county government of Kiambu today, I think we will also add the concerns of the Senate about what happened yesterday with the meeting. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Sorry I talked too long. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Honorable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46, 3 and 4, I have received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the approval by the National Assembly of the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2024. The message dated Wednesday, 9th July 2025, was received in the office of the Clerk of the Senate today, Wednesday, 9th of July 2025. I bait this message was to be passed on last week, if you got that sentence properly. Pursuant to Standing Order 46.4, I now report the message. Now, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41.1 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. Whereas the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2024, was published via Kenya Gazette Supplement number 49 of 5th March 2024 as a bill seeking to give effect to Article 11.3a of the Constitution to provide for the protection and promotion of culture and the cultural heritage of communities. And whereas the National Assembly considered the said bill and passed it with amendments on Thursday, 12 June 2025 in the form attached hereto, now therefore, in accordance with the provisions of Article 110.4 of the Constitution and Standing Orders 41.1 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby refer the bill to the Senate for consideration. Now, Honourable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 163, which requires that a bill in the National Assembly be proceeded with by the Senate in the manner as a bill introduced in the Senate by way of first reading, in accordance with Standing Order 144, I direct that the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2024, be read a first time on Tuesday, 15th July 2025, which is today. Also, Honourable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46.3 and 4, I have received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the approval by the National Assembly of the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023. The message, dated Wednesday 9th, 2025, was received in the office of the Clerk of the Senate on Wednesday 9th July 2025. Now, pursuant to Order 46.4, I now report the message. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41.1 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. Whereas the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023, was published via Kenya Gazette Supplement number 227 of 24th of November 2023 as a bill seeking to provide for the establishment, roles and functions of the Kenya National Council for Population and Development, and for the establishment of the board of the council and other connected purposes. And whereas the National Assembly considered the said bill and passed it with amendments on Thursday, 19th of June 2025 in the form attached hereto, now therefore, in accordance with the provisions of Article 110.4 of the Constitution and Standing Order 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby refer the bill to the Senate for consideration. Honourable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 163, which requires that a bill which originates in the National Assembly be proceeded with by the Senate in the manner as a bill introduced in the Senate by way of first reading, in accordance with Standing Order 144, I direct that the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023 be read a first time on Tuesday, 15th of July, 2025, which is today. Further, honorable senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 48.3, I received a message from the Clerk of the County Assembly of Kiambu. The message, dated 24th of June 2025, transmits a resolution of the County Assembly of Kiambu to the effect that the County Assembly of Kiambu, taking into consideration recommendations of the County Assembly Sector Committee on County Planning and Urbanization in its report on the proposed conferment of city status to Thika Municipality in Kiambu County, laid on the table of the County Assembly on Thursday, 19th of June 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Sections 8(4) of the Urban Areas and Cities Act 2011, resolved to confer the status of a city to Thika Municipality in Kiambu County. Honorable Senators, the following documents were annexed to the letter transmitting the resolution to the County Assembly. 1. The order paper for the County Assembly of Kiambu, especially a special sitting on Thursday, 19th of June 2025 at 9 a.m. 2. The Hansard report for the County Assembly special sitting. And 3. The report of the County Assembly of Kiambu Sector Committee on County Planning and Urbanization on conferment of city status to Thika Municipality. Further, via the later reference CAK/1/19/10, Volume 2 into brackets 15, dated the 3rd of July 2025, the Clerk of the County Assembly also forwarded to the Clerk of the Senate the report of the ad hoc committee constituted by the Governor of Kiambu County to consider the application by the Board of the Thika Municipality for conferment of city status to the municipality. Now, Honorable Senators, Section 8(6) of the Urban Areas and Cities Act, Cap 275, provide as follows. 1. The Board of Municipality may, upon a resolution, apply to the County Executive Committee for consideration for the conferment of city status. Where the Executive Committee approves the application, the County Governor shall constitute an ad hoc committee to consider the recommendation and advise as appropriate. 3. The ad hoc committee shall comprise of relevant professionals in good standing nominated by the following institutions, taking account of regional, ethnic, and gender diversity and representation of persons with disability. A. The Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. B. The Kenya Institute of Planners. C. The Architectural Association of Kenya. D. The Law Society of Kenya. E. An Association of Urban Areas and Cities. F. The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. And G. The Business Community. Where the ad hoc committee under Section 2 determines that the municipality under review meets the requisite criteria for classification as a city, the county governor shall transmit the recommendation to the County Assembly for approval. Where the County Assembly approves the recommendation for conferment of city status to a municipality under this section, the Clerk of the County Assembly shall transmit the resolution to the Senate for consideration. Where the Senate approves the recommendation, the Clerk of the Senate shall forward the resolution to the President for conferment of city status of the municipality. Now, Honorable Senators, in order to facilitate the Senate in its consideration of the conferment of city status of Thika Municipality, as contemplated in Section 8, subsection 5 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act, Cap 275, I forthwith refer the message to the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations for consideration. That is pursuant to Standing Order 48(7)(c). I also direct that the committee expedites its consideration of this matter and table its report for consideration by the Senate. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate. Today, Tuesday, the 15th of July, 2025. This is a sugar development levy order, legal notice number 113 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 15th July 2025. Report of the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on its consideration of the Labour Migration and Management number 2 Bill, Senate Bills number 42 of 2024.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Chair, I beg to lay on the table of the Senate the following reports of the Senate Committee today, Tuesday, 15th of July, 2025. Report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025. Report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025, and report of the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on County Government Additional Allocation number 2 Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 8 of 2025. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 52-1. Honorable Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My statement is regarding the recent disturbing revelations concerning the conduct of Mr. Peter Ayiro, a senior teacher at Alliance Girls High School. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52-1 to make a statement on deeply troubling revelations that have emerged concerning Mr. Peter Ayiro, a senior teacher and a long-time Christian Union patron at Alliance Girls High School, and the broader question of systemic abuse and institutional silence in girls' boarding schools in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, a recent expose has brought to public attention credible and disturbing accounts from more than 24 former students and teachers detailing a pattern of grooming, emotional manipulation, and inappropriate conduct by Mr. Ayiro over a period of more than 2 decades. These acts alleged took place within the confines of the school and were enabled by a combination of unchecked influence, spiritual authority, and a culture of silence. According to the testimonies, Mr. Ayiro alleged exploited his position as a trusted teacher and spiritual leader to blur boundaries with vulnerable teenage girls, some as young as 13-year-old. Several accounts describe his use of favors, selective friendships, religious mentorships, and isolation tactics to manipulate students, many of whom later struggled with trauma, guilt, and confusion well into adulthood. Mr. Speaker, sir, what is most concerning is not only the alleged conduct of an individual teacher, but the repeated institutional failures that allow this behavior to go unchecked. Former school administrators, teachers, and even chaplains reportedly raised red flags, yet no meaningful disciplinary action or formal investigation was ever initiated. Despite multiple principals having served as the institution over this period, And despite consistent rumors, concerns, and warnings, Mr. Ayiro retained his position and influence. The Teacher Service Commission, TSC, which is mandated to uphold professional conduct and discipline in our schools, appears to have either failed to act or turned a blind eye. This points to a deeper, more entrenched systemic issue, Mr. Speaker, sir. Girls' boarding schools are meant to be safe spaces for learning and character formation. Yet this case reveals a pattern of grooming and predatory behavior that appears to have been institutionally tolerated or overlooked, raising the question of how many similar cases exist across our schools but remain hidden beneath silence, shame, or fear. I therefore urge this House to acknowledge the following. Number one, that there may be widespreading failures in enforcing ethical boundaries between teachers and students in our learning institutions. Number two, that the Teachers Service Commission must urgently review its internal safeguards, reporting structures, and whistleblower protections in relation to misconduct in schools. Number three, that the Ministry of Education must audit the safeguarding mechanism in public boarding schools, especially girls' schools, and establish mandatory codes of conduct on teacher-student relations. Finally, that the culture of silence, protectionism, and spiritual manipulation in school-based religious spaces must be examined to ensure students' safety and dignity are upheld. Mr. Speaker, the bravery of the survivors who came forward to tell their stories cannot go unnoticed. We owe it to them. And to every child in our schools, we ensure that systems of accountability are not just on paper, but actively working. The Senate must now lead by example in calling for transparency, justice, and a national safeguarding framework that puts the welfare of students above the reputation of institutions or individuals. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Professor Margaret Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52.1 to make a statement on a matter of international concern regarding the recently concluded continental consultations on the draft model law on labor migration in Africa, held from the 16th to 18th of June 2025 in Nairobi, Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the consultation was convened by the Pan-African Parliament, Committee of Trade, Customs and Immigration Matters, where I sit, under the chairmanship of John Bideri, Honorable John Bideri. He was from Burundi, who is our chair in the committee. This consultation was supported by the African Union Commission and the International Labour Organization, ILO. It brought together parliamentarians. Mr. Speaker, can you protect me from members who are standing and consulting?
Now, honorable senators, kindly take your seats. And may the senator be heard in silence. Proceed, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this meeting brought together parliamentarians, government officials, international partners, and civil society actors to review and refine an harmonized legal framework to guide African Union member states in managing labor migration in a coordinated and rights-based manner. Mr. Speaker, the draft model law has been in development for the past 2 years. Its core objectives are to provide a uniform legal tool to guide member states in enacting or aligning national labor migration laws to promote the protection of the migrant workers' rights, encourage fair recruitment practices, support gender-responsive policies, and align national systems with international labor standards. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kenya was ably represented during the consultations. We were a delegation led by our own leader of delegation to PAP, the Senator Danson Mungatana, myself, and in his remarks, the Honorable Mungatana underscored the urgent need for legal frameworks that protect the dignity of migrant workers while positioning labor migration as a driver of socio-economic development. The consultations, Mr. Speaker, featured contributions from various stakeholders such as ILO and IOM, that's the International Organization of Migration, the African Union representatives, regional economic communities, our Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, and civil society organizations. And they noted as follows. I'll just raise a few issues. The representative of IOM, Mr. Sitome, emphasized the value of developing an Afrocentric and inclusive framework that leverages Africa's youthful population. Mr. Speaker, the representative of the AU, Ambassador Harris Henry, who stressed on the effective labor migration governance to be aligned to the AU Agenda 2063 and the Sustainable Development Goals. We had also a representative from ILO, Mr. Ndaba, who called for the urgent ratification of the international labor instruments and effective policy implementation across the continent for the protection of a laborer who wants to move across. The updated model law, Mr. Speaker, now includes enhanced provisions on fair and ethical recruitment, recognition of skills and qualifications, integration of migrant workers in the host countries, and non-discrimination and equal access to social protection for the migrant workers as it is in the host country. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to take this opportunity to also commend our colleague, Senator Tabitha.
What is the point of order, Senator, for Kilifi County?
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, tunaona kwamba kama Senator anaongea katika hii hoja, tutapata kwamba kuna maseneta wengi wamesimama, na hiyo ni kinyume na kanuni zetu za kudumu za sheria. Kwa hiyo ingekuwa vyema kama mmoja akiwa anaongea sote tuweze kumsikiza kwa makini na awe atasikizwa peke yake. Wale wanaotaka kuzungumza wanaweza kuendelea kuzungumza, lakini ikiwa wameketi, sio kusimama hivi namna hii. Asante Bwana Spika.
No, honorable senators, the point of order that has been raised by the minority leader is extremely valid. There must be order when we are conducting our business in the House. Now, we have given a lot of latitude to members, and we are beginning to feel a little bit more comfortable in the chamber. We are consulting so loudly. We walk around, we pace from one corner to the other of the chamber. Some of us receive calls on the floor of the House. Now, honorable senators, certainly that is not an orderly House. So going forward, the Presidium is going to enforce our rules, your rules, very firmly. So do not be shocked to be asked to leave the chamber just because you're standing, because you're disrupting the proceedings of the House. So kindly take note, honorable members. Proceed and conclude, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think members must remember that labor migration is affecting all of them, from recruitment scandals to the destination issues that they have. But, Mr. Speaker, I wish to take this opportunity to commend our colleague, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, for sponsoring a labor migration and management bill, the Senate Bill number 42 of 2024, which has been in the committee for a while, and I think it has just been presented here. The report of the committee has been tabled. So we seem to be ahead of the African Union, and we need to borrow some of what is in the document that is coming out. Mr. Speaker, in this regard, I urge the Committee also of Labor and Migration to fast track, now that they have tabled, fast track everything to do with labor migration, because it affects all of us. All of us know people who have suffered in their countries of destination. The committee should move with speed, therefore, to incorporate key provisions emerging from the continental consultations, including the rights-based, gender-sensitive, and development-oriented safeguards, and bring forward any necessary amendments to ensure the legislation is both progressive and aligned in regional and international best practices. Apart from the committee, I urge our colleague, Senator Mutinda, to read the outcome of that consultation. She might also pick one or two things. Honorable Speaker, our migrant workers, many of whom serve in precarious environments abroad, deserve a law that protects them comprehensively. Fast-tracking the bill will not only safeguard the Kenyan workers overseas, but also reaffirm our leadership and commitment to the African integration agenda. Mr. Speaker, the refined model law is expected to be submitted to the African Union Literary Council with recommendations for partner states to adopt and domesticate it. As a Senate, we must remain actively engaged in both in the bill that is before us and in what is going on in the continent, so that we make the best out of it. Finally, I conclude, Mr. Speaker, by calling upon the Committee of Labor and Welfare to lead the process. We invited them to come for the meeting, and nobody turned up from that committee. It was a little disappointing for me and Senator Mungatana that we didn't have anybody from the committee. When we have regional meetings, we expect our committees to take part. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to make this statement. Thank you.
Now, honorable senators, allow me to rearrange the order paper. There are three statements. We'll come back to those, and standing order 53-1. We will move to order number 8, 9, and 10, and thereafter resume the normal flow as contained in today's order paper. Clerk, you may proceed to call order number 8.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omusundi concerning the branding of public projects with images of governors and members of county assemblies and branding of county vehicles. Question to be put.
Clerk, we have the requisite quorum. Senator Manzo, kindly take a seat. I'll proceed to put the question that the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on the petition to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omusundi concerning the branding of public projects with images of governors and members of county assemblies, MCAs, and branding of county vehicles laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 3rd June 2025. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say nay? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say nay? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2025, second reading, division.
Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the division bell for 3 minutes.
Originating from the National Assembly and being considered at the Senate. This is a bill that is co-sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader, and this is a bill that seeks to reduce poverty and vulnerability and improve the well-being of people by providing assistance. This is a bill that was extensively debated on the floor of the House during the previous sittings. It is a bill that is at its second reading stage and waiting to go into the committee of the whole House. That is where, if there are any amendments that the members of the Senate may have proposed during their consideration of this particular bill at the second reading stage, those amendments will be considered. However, what the division is about is for the bill to be read a second time. Remember, these are the stages of the bill: first reading, public participation, second reading, debate, and then approval by the House for the bill to be read a second time. That will be paving way for it to go into the next stage. So that is a division bell for 3 minutes as directed by the Speaker. Once the 3 minutes lapse, the doors will be closed and the bars drawn for the senators to take an electronic vote on whether the bill be read a second time and allow it to move into the next stage. Remember, the next stage will be the Committee of the Whole to consider any amendments that may have been proposed by the senators during this particular second reading stage where the debate took place. But this bill basically seeks to reduce poverty and vulnerability and improve the well-being of people by providing assistance, services and programs that build human capital and cushion people against risks and contingencies throughout their life cycle. This particular bill seeks to establish the National Board for Social Protection. It will be defining its composition as well as the mandate, functions and powers and source of funds, as well as all right, the bell has stopped. That means that the quorum has been raised or found. The members will be getting into division on the second reading of this particular bill. Some of the functions of the board which this particular bill seeks to establish include advising the Cabinet Secretary on matters relating to social protection, also designing and implementing social protection interventions and programs, as well as providing social assistance and social care to vulnerable persons, coordinating social protection interventions, establishing and maintaining a social protection registry, also undertaking civic education on social protection, periodically undertaking indexation of social assistance. All right, allow me to hand you over to the division stage.
Lock the doors and draw the bar. Honorable Senators, kindly take your seats. Now, Honorable Senators, voting will be done electronically. And before I put the question, kindly log out. Such at times, go around and pick any unattended card. Thank you. So, Honorable Senators, I'll now proceed to put the question that, yeah, you log in when you're voting. You may log back in. The question is that the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 20.
connected purposes.
Sergeant, at times you may open the door and withdraw the bars. Now, honorable senators, we will go back to the statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. The Senator for Mombasa County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing on a matter of countrywide concern regarding the poor quality of services offered by Kenya Airways and its sister airline Jambo Jet, particularly on the Mombasa route. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mombasa is a leading tourist city that relies heavily on both domestic and international tourism for its economic prosperity. Despite having strategic transport infrastructure, including an international airport, a world-class seaport, the standard gauge railway, and a robust road network, the Mombasa International Airport remains underutilized. This underutilization is partly due to the restrictive licensing regime and limited running rights extended to competing airlines. Consequently, Kenya Airways and Jambo Jet have maintained a de facto monopoly control over the route, which has resulted in exorbitant ticket pricing, frequent delays, and abrupt flight cancellations. The economy class fares to Mombasa routinely average 8,500 per one-way flight, and on weekends and on peak seasons can rise to as much as 25,000 shillings. These rates are not only the measures in place the Ministry of Roads and Transport has taken to liberalize the Mombasa air route and facilitate the entry of other airlines to enhance competition and improve service delivery. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
The Senator for Nairobi City County, the Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the status of development projects in Nairobi City County. Honorable Speaker, numerous public projects within the county have stalled, leading to significant financial losses to taxpayers, diminished service delivery, and compromised infrastructure development. There is growing concern, Honorable Speaker, from both the public and the members of the County Assembly, who I had occasion of meeting on the 13th of June 2025 at my office, that some of these stalled projects may be exploited as conduits of misappropriation or money laundering. Nairobi County already ranks highest in the National Fiduciary Risk Assessment, as was presented by the County Public Accounts Committee of this House, raising serious questions about financial governance and accountability. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number one, the stalled projects funded through public funds in Nairobi City County, including timelines, funding status, and total projected versus actual expenditures on each of those projects. Number two, the timelines for resumption or completion of these projects and the budgetary allocations made to ensure their completion. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, we want to know the contractors paid for the stalled or incomplete projects, including the measures in place to recover public funds in cases.
On the 25th of June 2025 and on the 7th of July 2025, respectively. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, what is the official government account of casualties indicating the specific number of police officers and members of the public who lost their lives or who sustained injuries during Gen Z-led and Sabasaba demonstrations of June 25th, 2025 and 7th of July, 2025. Two, the estimated value of private and public property and infrastructure that was vandalized or looted during the said demonstrations. Three, the total number of persons that were arrested and charged in connection with the demonstrations for alleged unlawful assembly, alleged incitement, and alleged destruction of property or other specified charges, as well as legal standing for the charges. 4, the initiatives by the government to support families of those who lost their lives or sustained injuries during those demonstrations, and to compensate individuals whose businesses or properties were vandalized, looted, including details on any ongoing programs for property recovery. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the assessment of the government on whether the demonstrations were organically mobilized by citizens or influenced by other actors, as well as the government's strategy to address the underlying causes of recurring demonstrations and to restore peace while upholding constitutional rights. I thank you.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments for 15 minutes.